Okay, so making the hook melody. Now, this is obviously the more important part of the song. This is the catchy part. This is what kind of sticks with the listener's ear after they hear it. This is kind of the deal breaker for the track. Once the track builds up and it goes into the climax of the track, the crescendo, the peak of the song, if it's not catchy, it's not going to stick, and it's going to be you're not going to stick the landing, so to speak. So you want to have a catchy melody. Now, Ableton, especially Ableton 11, has a lot of great useful features that allow you to basically write catchy melodies without knowing a lot about music theory. If you don't know a lot about music theory, it's, in this day and age with modern music technology, it's quick and easy to learn. And luckily, you can still get away with producing a decent song without being a Beethoven of music theory, basically. So before I begin in my methods of how I like to come up with melodies, I want to kind of preface by saying there are many ways to get a great melody. You can sample it from other tracks, like as long as you're cutting it up, chopping it up to rearrange the actual notes to make it unique to yourself. I know in a lot of hip hop that it's just they grab like maybe a bar or two of an old record and then just like kind of chop it up and loop it in a different fashion and kind of go that route about it, and that is just as cool and unique too. So I mean, there's an art in sampling, and then there's obviously an art in making your own unique melodies. There is a plethora of utilities and VST plugins available to assist you in making melodic ideas. I use a lot, actually. I use one called Melody Sauce that is key for the drop. I always use it. I'll show you it. And then sometimes you just want to draw it in. And with Ableton 11, with the new scale and fold feature on the MIDI clips, it just makes it really easy to draw on the melody without really worrying about going out of key, because everything's just closed in and blocked in, and you can draw wherever. And I'll show you multiple methods in this track, so we can try to go through different ideas to see what we like best. But yeah, don't think just because you're using like AI technology and some plugins that you're cheating. It's all about getting inspiration, getting an idea, and then kind of twisting the idea into something on your own. And I'll kind of go over it and explain to you what I mean as I go along here. So let's take a listen to the drums that I have from the last section that we worked on. Okay, so I like to go into my resampling track, and then I basically have everything set up here with my melody performance rack. And then we're going to choose a VST, and if I want to resample anything, I can grab it in two different ways. I can grab the audio and I can grab the MIDI. And I'll want to grab the MIDI, and I'll explain why in a little bit, because of this guy and this guy. First, let's go grab a VST that we're going to use for the melody here. This is going to be for the drop melody, so it's going to be for the initial lead that we're going to hear. I love Nexus 3 lately. It's one of my favorites to use. The leads are really processed and polished already, ready to go. And give it a second till all it catches up to with my... There we go. Yeah, like I was saying, so this is one of my favorites to use. The reason why is because sometimes you don't want to spend all day long sound designing. Sometimes you want an idea that's ready to go, and you just want a good sounding tone that sounds good to the ear, that's been processed already. So this is Nexus 3. This is a Rompler. But the reason why it's so popular, really good, is because of the quality of the sounds. The quality of the sounds are second to none. They're exactly what the genre calls for every time. Manuel is one of the programmers. He does an amazing job at capturing the exact vibe of whatever's trendy at the moment. And I'll show you what I mean. So we want to work in a scale of F sharp minor. And I'm going to try first playing out some melodies on my keyboard. I'll show you different methods of how I come up with melodies, and you can decide what's right for you. And then I like to turn on this little guy, MIDI Quantize, so then I can just mess around on my keyboard and then even if I don't play in
तो
time,
इसे
or if I
थोड़ा सा
slip
कम
and play
करते
one
हैं
out of
यहाँ
key,
पर.
it'll fix it for me. This way I can easily come up with great melodic ideas. And then fortunately, when you record the MIDI, when you play it into this track right here, it does not record it corrected by these two guys. So your MIDI is still going to be out of time and out of key. The reason why I have a MIDI capture set up down here is to that you can record the MIDI output of this track, and then it'll record the corrected MIDI down here. So it's just an easy way to grab the corrected MIDI for when I want to use the MIDI on another track, so I don't have to do that every time. So first, let's go ahead and we have the key set, we have the MIDI Quantize on. Let's turn on a lead that we want to mess around with here. Oh, and we also want to make sure that we're set up for sidechain here. So we're going to turn this on. And then you can see we're getting some sidechain ducking right there. A little bit of gain reduction. Let's set it to right there for now. And then this is supposed to be for a snare, but we don't need it. All right. We have everything set. Let's go ahead and grab a lead here. Let's go to EDM Leads. Let's take a listen. Okay, let's see if we can come up with something here. Okay, I'm not really liking that lead too much, actually. Let's try something else. This is the part where it gets kind of tedious. You just got to find the right lead that kind of speaks to you, that kind of delivers the idea of what you're trying to mess with the song here. Try another one. Let's go to an artist series, something like Tiesto's. That one's pretty cool. Okay, so that one sounds pretty good.